Hi guys, welcome to another review by 3 Eyes. Today we're taking a look at the HK P2000. The model that we're looking at right now in front of us, made by Heckler and Koch, I believe is a version 2, and it features the LEM trigger. For those of you who aren't familiar with HK designations and such, the versions or variants talk about the various different types of trigger pulls and firing mechanisms used for the gun. Standard HKs typically go from a double action to a single action, oftentimes feature a decocker, sometimes a safety, not so much on the P2000s, but the LEM trigger is a unique one that kind of replicates what the Glock offers, or more like along the lines of what SIG offers with their DAK trigger system, which I believe stands for like Double Action Kellerman or something like that. Something unusual, but the K stands for the name of the person who invented that trigger system. This particular model, with the LEM trigger, what you're going to be experiencing is a really light double action trigger pull and a shorter reset than a full traditional double action, and also a great feature of the double strike capability. To show you this, I'm going to do a quick safety check before we handle the gun. As you can see, there's no round on the chamber. There's no mag in the gun, no round in the chamber, no round in the magazine. This is one of those Clinton neutered mags. I like to use it and abuse it whenever I'm not carrying. But anyway, so as I was mentioning, I'm going to show you this trigger. So currently, I did mention there's a long double action, but it's a really light one. So I'm going to show you the hammer being, as you can see, it's quite light. You only get some resistance towards the rear, and it doesn't really stack. There's a slight bit of stacking, but not really. Once you get to this point, it's 3.5 pounds, and then you can take a look to see the reset point. Okay, there you go. And though that's not a really short reset, you can definitely take a look at my other video with the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 with the Apex Tactical kit installed, and that has an amazing reset point right there. You should definitely check that video out. It beats out Glocks in terms of their reset, but in terms of behavior, this LEM trigger is pretty similar. Now the great thing about this is that even if you discharge the weapon, as I mentioned, the double strike capability allows you to snap off that next shot just in case and have that hammer still working for you. You know, there's a lot of debate as to whether you should just tap rack bang it or pull the trigger again. Most of the time I believe that the primer isn't going to go off, so a tap rack bang is probably your best bet. But you know, if it comes to that circumstance where you're in a really bad jam and someone's maybe tackled you to the ground, or it's too close to, you know, operate with two hands, you know, having that double strike capability is better than not having it. So that's my belief. So a lot of you might be familiar with the USP line, the Universal Service Pistol, which was predominantly a duty pistol that gained a lot of fame for its iconic image and styles. It had a huge chunky slide release lever that, you know, resembled more like barnyard door technology than anything else, but it was just a really beefy gun. A lot of the styling cues are still here with the P2000, but they miniaturized everything. So a lot of people consider this the second generation of USP. I think that's kind of a misleading thing to go about, because of the fact that the P2000 is a much slimmer gun. I think the HK took a lot of time to manufacture this gun so that it could fit a whole line of consumers that weren't interested in a big duty pistol. This gun actually fits more like a concealed carry pistol, and the way you can kind of sum that up in your head is that the USP, a big duty pistol, the USP Compact uses the same magazines as the P2000. So the compact version of the original is the full size of this version, and then this version also features a smaller version called the SK, so the P2000 SK. Basically it's a slightly shorter version in terms of barrel length, and basically you lose about an inch off the bottom of the grip, so you get a 3-finger hold versus a full 4-finger hold. So 3 versus 4. That being said, you can definitely tell that the slide profile looks really similar to a USP. The slide release is still kind of a big chunky one, but you know, it's definitely been slimmed down. One of the key points is that the USP used to have this huge slide lever, safety lever and decocking lever, safety decocking lever. And with the P2000, they just pretty much got rid of that and said, you know what, we're going to put a decocker back here. Now on the LEMs, they don't, because this resets always to double action, so they don't need it to decock anywhere because it automatically decocks out to that point. Well, I guess decocking is kind of again, another misleading statement. It simply releases the trigger all the way out, with the hammer being already pre-cocked slightly. Things to take note of. This gun is extremely ambidextrous. I gotta say, you know, whatever gun you have out there, it's pretty hard to beat the ambidextrous and lefty-friendly tendencies of the P2000. You get a slide release on this side, and look, it's the same one on this side. You get a mag release that pushes down here, and it's the same one because it's a lever system that was pretty much made, it was pretty notorious on the USB. Now, some of you might be like wondering, why is this so important? Well, for some people, they don't like torquing the gun and pointing in a odd direction and using your thumb to eject the mag. You get to use the same muscle memory in your left hand and right hand, and if you really want to, you don't have to adjust your grip too much. You can use your shooting finger, or you could use your middle finger to eject the magazine. It's a pretty simple and easy motion. A lot of Glock shooters, left-handies, like to use that same technique, using their middle finger to eject the mag from the Glock if it's not reversible, or if it's one of the older generations like the 3rd gens. What else are we going to cover? This rail is great. I shot it some with my TLR1. Didn't have any issues. It was great like that. Overall slide profile, everything's been slimmed down. It's really great. I mean, it weighs around 21 ounces, which is comparable to a Glock 19. So in terms of weight, it's great. The recoil absorption system that they have in this unit is, I believe, a dual spring system with a buffer, frame buffer as well, so the frame doesn't get beat up either. One thing I really love about this gun, despite the fact that Glock has a low bore axis, which is a lot of phooey, I think, this gun has a extremely high bore axis. The sights that are designed on it, and as well as the slide, they're all tapered, so it kind of helps you line up your sights super fast, because you just kind of, your eyes kind of pull from the width to the point, and it's really natural in that sense. You know, if you don't believe me, go ahead, try it out sometime. Just the fact that the slide and the sights taper just is, I think, is a wonderful design, and I wouldn't have it any other way. See, what else is there to talk about? Oh, yeah, the hammer. One of the reasons why I switched from a Glock to an HK, and nothing against Glocks. I love Glocks. I've shot probably over 20,000 rounds through several different Glocks, and I still miss all of my old ones that I sold off, and I do still plan to buy more. I'm a member of the Glock Shooting Sports Foundation. Another great way to get Glocks, because you can buy them actually at the law enforcement pricing. If you're a member, you get one per year that way. One thing I didn't like about Glocks is when you reholster, basically you're just relying that nothing's in the trigger guard and that your finger's off the trigger as well. So if any foreign objects could get in there and pull the trigger, it could happen. I mean, I looked at the statistics of my local police department and the number of discharges that they had from reholstering, and it was just enough that I didn't want the chance of shooting myself in the foot. With the HK and with the 1911s or any gun that's actuated by a hammer, you just simply put your hand back up here, put your thumb on it, and then as you reholster, even if something does catch, you can feel that hammer move, or your thumb basically gets in the way and it makes it impossible for it to move any farther back. It's a 1911 trick, because you know, you get off the grip safety, you ride that, you pop off the manual thumb safety, and you put your thumb on the back hammer. It's just a little safer for me when I carry and reholster. I don't know what else I can tell you guys about this gun, except that I love it. I own two, looking for a third one. Hopefully it'll be in 40 as opposed to a 9. A variety is the spice of life. But if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask. I will do my best to answer them. Thanks, guys.